Nintendo's holiday lineup one of the weakest in recent memory, Wii owners are searching for quality games to fill their wish list. Spray hopes to capitalize on the opportunity and achieve sleeper status. Its premise may turn some heads, but is it just another good concept with no substance? Spray tells the story of a young prince named Ray, who has to save the kingdom of Eko by recovering sun crystals to defeat the evil queen Mordak. It's tried and cliche, but thankfully the plot takes a back seat after the brief opening cinematic. Players are then hurled into the game's generic hub. Immediately, one of the game's many nagging issues rears its ugly head. There's a complete lack of any form of in-game assistance, resulting in utter confusion. Just trying to find your way around the hub is a chore at first. Once you've finally managed to reach a new world, players can only select one crystal to find, as successive crystals will not be available until the previous one is collected, effectively eliminating any need for exploration. You couldn't do it if you wanted to because some areas are flat out closed off. Each world is fairly large, and it takes about 17 seconds to load each one. Objectives require players to tackle some heavy platforming, fight groups of enemies, solve tedious puzzles, and on the rare occasion take on a boss. The use of various liquids is required to clear paths, discover hidden passages, solve puzzles, and aid in combat. It has some charm, at first, but repetition and poor level design ensure it's short-lived. There's also two forms of multiplayer. You can play the campaign cooperatively, much like the two-player mode in Super Mario Galaxy. One player controls the character's movements, while the other controls the aiming reticle and sprays liquids. Relying on another player feels like a hindrance, though. There's also a 4-player minigame mode, but it's plagued by poor camera work and a lack of inspiration. The level structures and content may be poor, but they're not nearly as flawed as Ray's many mechanics. Like most modern adventure games, Spray gives the player control of the camera, but they have to face a direction and then double-tap a button to focus it. In a game that requires quick camera adjustments, it does not get the job done. The game also forces horrible angles on you that can't be changed. The platforming segments are also less than stellar. He only seems to jump when he wants to. He'll often reach a ledge and not grab on, or go through solid objects even when landing on them properly. With so many intense platforming sequences, these issues make the game almost unplayable at points. Some of the intended paths can feel insurmountable. Combat is controlled with waggle, and aiming is handled with the pointer functionality to spray water, vomit, slime, ice, and antimatter. These various types of substances play an important role, but they are impossible to spray accurately. There are a few very brief moments of potential in Spray, but nothing rectifies the numerous technical issues. The game's visuals are yucky. There's very little variety in the appearance and contents of each new world, and the spraying effects look awful. Lackluster art direction and generic character designs also plague its presentation. The audio fares even worse. The soundtrack is laughably bad, and the repetitive sound effects will make you cringe. Spray tries to be a cross between The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Sunshine, but it fails on a grand scale. It's 15 hours of pain with few redeeming qualities, and the elements it tries to lean so heavily on are where it's most efficient. Avoid the struggle altogether, and invest the cash in a new garden hose.